Hey, this is a crash out post. I'm currently crashing out. Sorry in advance. Women, do not get married and have kids unless you plan on and are capable of becoming a single mom. Because 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, I don't know, statistically high, that's probably what's going to happen to you. Now, I love being a mom. I really do. And in fact, I quite enjoy most of the time being a single mom. This shit is not fair. The world is not set up for single moms. You will struggle. I don't care what job you have. I don't care how much you get paid. Especially in this economy right now, okay? The world is not set up for single mothers. It will be fucking hard. It will test you in ways that you didn't know that you could even be tested. You will have to fight for those kids, most likely. You will have to fight for those kids. You will have to wake up every morning and question, just real talk, if motherhood is really something that you want anymore, because these men make it so hard. Oh, they make it so hard to be a mom. They take away all of the tender moments of motherhood that you could have had, but you were stuck in survival mode. So you didn't even really get to enjoy it. You're just fucking surviving, trying to raise these kids, trying to do the best you can. Then you get $250 a month. What the fuck? That is pennies. That is the gas money it is taking me to drop them off at their father's house and pick them back up. $250 a month. And my ex is a nurse. $250 a month. I'm sorry. Oh, I don't even know if I'm going to post this. These men will take everything from you. They will promise you so much. They will promise you so much. And it will feel great at first. It will feel peaceful at first. And for some fucking reason, when you have their child, they will abandon you. They will discard you. Even if they don't cheat, even if they don't do anything significant, they'll emotionally turn away from you to the point where you leave. I left. I can't be in that. It is not what we were promised. It is not what you think it is. I promise you. I promise you. And before you come on here and say, oh, well, my situation's not like that. Good for you, honey. You are in the 1% of women that are very lucky, because the rest of us don't have that. And the rest of us become single moms. And it sucks, because all I wanted was to be a mom. I love being a mom. But the best parts of my motherhood were taken from me. And in fact, the first time I got pregnant, the man said he couldn't have kids, and then fought me in court for 5 years. Fought me in court for 5 years to take away my son that he claimed in the beginning he wasn't even capable of producing, because he didn't want to wrap it up at first. Yeah. Yep. I can't handle it. I can't handle this. I can't handle men anymore. Y'all are liars. You lie to women. You promise us a lot. We are objects to you. We are things that you put on your shelf. I am a human being, and my life is forever changed. My life is forever changed. I will never be the same. My youth was stolen from me. I had to put my boots on the ground and become a single mom at 21 years old. I didn't get to live. I didn't get to live. I didn't. My life is not what I wanted it to be. Not even close. But I love being a mom. I'm holding space for 2 things at one time. Just don't date men. We are at a point in society where we are waking up to the reality of the patriarchy, which is a very real thing that I didn't used to believe in, and I fucking do now. To what men are really like. I will never see the change in men that I need to see to feel safe enough to ever date again in my entire life. It will take too long. The change that we need to see in men will take too long. It's 100, 200 years from now. So that's my life. So just don't date men. Just don't. Just focus on yourself. and don't have kids with the wrong person. And I don't know how to tell you what man is the right man, because I thought they both were. I thought they both were the right man, and they were not.
White women, aka the preference, are now the face of single motherhood. Let me know when y'all ready to chat about it.
Do you know that in time past, a lot of people felt Black Americans were only the ones that were single mothers in America, right? But right now, I think the white folks have taken the trophy from them, to be honest. I wanted to ask why, but it's so funny, honestly. They see Black American women go through all they go through in the hands of men, taking care of their children without begging anybody or asking anybody for help. And they make fun of them, laugh at them. They claim, oh, they're the ones who are feminine. And today, what is happening? They are now the ones who are now single mothers and crying. Yes, watch these videos and then I'll be back. Do not forget credits to those people who owns the video, right? We'll come and I'll bring the commentaries to you. All right. Do not forget to also subscribe, please. Yeah, keep watching.
I always get a kick when the males use single mom as an insult, because what do you mean? You mean how I am supporting 2 kids, a dog, and myself on 1 income? In this economy? You mean how I still look like this after having 2 children? You mean how I stay on top of everything? I work a full-time job. I have 2 side businesses. I maintain a home. I cook most of our meals. Our fridge is always stocked. Our bills are always paid. I always get the girls to their activities. I'm very involved with their school. I maintain my fitness and health. I get enough sleep. I have time for my friends. I have time to travel with my kids. And I have time to read. You mean to tell me that I'm doing all of that while you're leaving hate comments on the internet and it's an insult? Really? Because I don't know about you, but I am the hottest, healthiest, and wealthiest I've ever been without a man. So really, that's an insult to you, isn't it? That you're not on my level. You could not do half of what I do every single day, even once. There's no way. There's no way. So the next time you want to use single mom, single mother as an insult, please remember what single mothers are actually doing and see if you measure up, because I would be willing to bet my house that you do not. Cheers.
Please repost this. Even if you can't help, maybe somebody else can, and I am praying for a miracle. I'm in a terrible situation. I'm just trying to get my newborn baby fed. Her father is an alcoholic. He has effectively abandoned us. It's not really safe for me to interact with him. I can't afford formula. I'm failing at breastfeeding because I'm under too much stress and because she's lip, cheek, and tongue-tied. I have an appointment to get her ties revised next week, but I can't afford that either. I feel like I have nowhere to turn, and it seemed worth it to just swallow my pride and ask the internet for help. Whatever you can do makes a difference, and even if it's just reposting, please. Thank you.
So hard! Oh, they make it so hard to be a mom. They take away all of the tender moments of motherhood that you could have had, but you were stuck in survival mode. So you didn't even really get to enjoy it. You're just fucking surviving, trying to raise these kids, trying to do the best you can, and you get $250 a month. What the fuck? That is pennies. That is the gas money it is taking me to drop them off at their father's house and pick them back up. $250 a month. And my ex is a nurse. $250 a month.
Literally, I stayed in the hospital for a whole fucking week because I had an overdose. I overdosed because I literally did not want to be here no more. I didn't have a post for 11 something, almost 12 minutes because I didn't want to be here. I felt like this is
Nobody talks about the amount of times as a fucking mom that you sit in the fucking car and just cry, bro. You just fucking cry. Even when you know your tears not gonna fix shit.
And like I might always have to take care of her.
I could talk to the younger me. I would tell me to wait. I would tell me to wait to have kids until I know that I either am financially stable or I'm having a team behind me that can help me, because everybody needs a community. And when you are alone doing this,
I don't care who say they gonna be there for you. I don't care what type of help people think they're going to give you. Get that fucking abortion.
I'll be fine if I gave you my love. I tell you what I do. I'd expect a whole lot of love.
Anytime I mention that I like to date black men, the first comeback from insecure little white boys is, welcome to being a single mom. It is like clockwork. And then when I'm like, I'm already a single mom, but it's due to a white man. Then you guys want to take my 21-year-old daughter who is biracial and be like, no, that black man back in 2003, he made you a single mom. Which is not true, because I got married when I was 3 months pregnant to her, to my white ex-husband. So in fact, when she was born, I was a married mom. The reason she isn't mentioned isn't because I'm trying to hide her. I actually post her a lot on social media because I am a proud mama, okay? But she's 21. She lives in a different state. She's old enough to drink, vote, and buy cigarettes. I'm referring to my 3 minor children who are from a white man. Now, when I mention this, it is all for kinds of kicks and giggles, honestly. Like, I am not trying to throw shade at my ex-husband. He watches my videos. He doesn't care. No race of any man will ever make me a single mom again, because I'm not going to be having any more kids. The reason it's even brought up is due to racial stereotypical judgment. So if it was a black man, he's a horrible man, and that's what I get for wanting to date black guys. So when it's a black man, it's his fault. When it's a white man, it's the white woman's fault. Make it make sense.
Tired. I fucking hate this. I hate this some days. I just, like, I'm never enough, and, like, I feel like I'm gonna disappoint one of my kids. And
all right, so I silenced this part because I didn't want TikTok to take it down for the music, but here she's just showing how her ex-husband was in Europe with his new bitch on their children's birthday. Do not have a baby for a man. And when I say that, I mean do not have a baby just because that man wants a baby. If you do not absolutely want the baby, do not have the baby. Also, don't have more kids than you are willing to raise as a single mother. Y'all saw that video of her in the closet crying from her 4 kids. Stressed out, tired, overworked. And as y'all can see in this comment, someone said, standing firm on one and done mentally is the best for me. And even with 1 kid, it still gets overwhelming at times. The woman, the 29-year-old that was in the video, she was one and done with her ex-husband, but he pushed her to have another. She ends up with triplets. And when it's a triplets birthday, where is he? In Paris with the bitch he told her was a gold digger. On his kid's birthday, the kids that he begged his wife to have, that he now wants nothing to do with. If you have a baby simply because your husband wants the baby or your boyfriend wants the baby, if your husband or boyfriend decides they want nothing to do with that baby, they can pack their shit and go to Paris with the new bitch and leave you fending for yourself. Because she even said he doesn't take care of them. He's a fucking deadbeat. So now here she is, 29 years old, single mother, no assistance from the father. So when y'all see women on the internet saying, you know what, I'm gonna leave it at that. Do with this information what you will. I hate to use her as an example, but sometimes I feel like y'all need to see it. Y'all need to see it, because when women come on this app and tell y'all to be careful, y'all make it sound like, We're bitter. We're not bitter. We're cautious. We're cautious. Some of us were fortunate enough to not end up exactly in her position, but babe, all right, y'all be careful.
These are the requirements that you need to have in order to date me, a single mom of 3 kids. Number 1 is that you need to be making at least 130K a year, and you need to have at least 2 side hustles. If you cannot make 130K or more, then you are out of my fucking league. Second is I don't date men that are younger than me because for obvious reasons. So if you are 26 and over, then you qualify. You have to have at least 3 cars under your name. Your second car has to have 8 seats because I have 3 kids.
Publicly posting this list of requirements is just crazy.
You need to have enough space for my kids. So that's why I require you to have an SUV and a vehicle of your own if you're going to be dating me. Another requirement is that you have to have a property under your name, and you have to be looking into getting your second property. You have to get a home that has 6 rooms because each of my kids have to be in their own room. So you have to be considerate. Purchase a house that has 6 rooms because that's only common sense.
Personally, I think she's asking for a lot here. A house with 6 rooms is probably $1 million plus property. And in most cases, I think men will see this and probably immediately run the other direction. It's not bad that she's a single mom, but all these demands just scream that she's so disingenuous.
White women love to say we're all in this together. But are we? Because history suggests otherwise. Feminism has frequently been about white women first, expecting Black, Indigenous, Latina, and Asian women to stand behind them. Not beside them, behind them. And if we're being honest, it only ever seems to matter when they're the ones that are affected. This isn't about division, it's about reality. Let's talk about it. From the very start, white women have been centered in every movement that they've led. While women of color, we've been expected to serve. Black women were enslaved, forced to raise white children, clean white homes, and cook white families' meals, while their own families suffered. Indigenous women were displaced, stripped of their land, and forced into assimilation schools designed to erase their culture. Asian women were brought as cheap labor, confined to back-breaking jobs, and denied the right to citizenship. Latinas have long been exploited in this country, in agriculture and domestic work, and paid pennies for labor that sustains this country. And when white women started pushing for rights, for equality, for change, they expected women of color to fight right beside them, but never for them. Women of color stood side by side with white women, fighting for the right to vote. But when the 19th Amendment passed in 1920, white women celebrated. Black women in the South still blocked from the polls for another 45 years. Indigenous women, not even considered citizens until 1924. Asian women, legally barred from becoming citizens, which meant they couldn't vote until 1952. And Latinas, they faced literacy tests and language barriers that kept them from the ballot box. And white feminists, they moved on. They got what they wanted, and just like that, our fight became an afterthought. In the 1960s and 70s, a second wave of feminism came about. White women, now they were fighting for equal pay, reproductive rights, and workplace equality. Sounds great, right? Until women of color said, what about racism? What about forced sterilization? What about economic discrimination? That's what keeps us underpaid and overworked. The response was essentially, let's focus on women's issues first. As if racism, medical discrimination, and generational poverty weren't women's issues. Once again, our struggles were too complicated, too messy, too inconvenient for the feminism that they were building. And once again, white women expected us to fight beside them, but not for ourselves. Now let's talk about who white women actually fight for. Because if you want to know where someone stands, you look at their vote. In 2016, 53% of white women voted for Trump, a man who openly bragged about SA. In 2020, they tried to fix it by voting him out. And in 2024, the majority of them put him right back in office. Meanwhile, 92% of Black women, we voted to protect everybody. The polls don't lie. Latinas and Asians, Indigenous women continue to fight for sovereignty and representation. But white women, too many chose whiteness over sisterhood. Again. And here's what's wild. Feminism always expects us to march, to organize, to fight. But when it's time for white women to show up where it really matters, they don't. White feminists today expect women of color to be front and center when their rights are under attack. They want us out in the streets for Roe v. Wade. But where were they when Black and Indigenous women were being forcibly sterilized? They want us to fight for equal pay, but won't acknowledge that Black and Latina women still make significantly less than them. They'll post Black Lives Matter, but won't call out the racism in their own families, their friend groups, or their workplaces. Because here's the truth. White feminism only truly mobilizes when white women feel the impact. The moment they're comfortable again, the urgency disappears. This isn't about division, it's about accountability. Throughout history, women of color have stood beside white women in their fight for equality, led movements for racial and social justice, often alone, built coalitions, voted for change, and showed up, whether or not it benefited us directly. And what we've seen over and over again is when white women get what they need, they move on. It's not bitterness, it's reality. And we finally heard y'all loud and clear.
Dude. I gotta give up. I have worked so hard, literally. I went to school for 10 years for a higher education that doesn't do me any good. I've been working 2 jobs in restaurants for 2 years, 50 hours a week for nothing. It doesn't mean anything. In fact, I'm getting evicted next week after my son almost died in the end of March with diabetes, and now he has type 1 diabetes. And dealing with that, and then my grandma had a stroke 10 days after that. And now I'm behind on my $2,500 a month rent that I can't work enough to catch up.
Why do people, and let me be clear, I have empathy, right, for people that are going through things, because life be life. I've been through things. I don't know anybody that has not been through things. All right. So that goes without saying. Okay, your son got type 1, your grandparent or your parent died or whatever like that. Man, condolences out to you. But then there's always that other part, because we ignore that other part because the person is super emotional. Aside from the fact that the person is crying on the internet, I don't understand this. I don't understand picking up your phone and then crying to the internet. I don't know what that does. I don't know if you're looking for somebody to hit your Cash App or whatever. Always gonna link back to the content creator. But the fact of the matter is there some self-inflicted wounds in there. $2,500 a month rent, and apparently you're a single mother, which then lends me to the next question. Where's the father? And why aren't you with them? Because this just proves that women cannot do it alone. When men tend to go through things, and don't get me wrong, I do see men crying on this app and stuff like that, but when men tend to go through things, we eat that shit, we suffer it up, and then we just take our lot in life, and either we come up out of it or we take the L. I've never seen more women in my lifetime crying on the internet because of their life circumstances, when it's still some self-inflicted wounds that go into that. $2,500 a month rent, and you're a single mother, apparently, is wild to me. Now, obviously, I know that there are circumstances that are beyond people, right? When you talk about some widows or you talk about some other things. But 10 years of school, in what exactly? You know what I'm saying? It's almost like women have this one-track mind. It's like, okay, if I go to school, then I'm supposed to be well off. Never mind, I'm supposed to make sure that I don't take out a whole bunch of student loans. Never mind the fact that I am supposed to make sure I go into a curriculum that is going to be conducive for my life. Like, if you went to school for 10 years in order to be an anesthesiologist, I think you'll be all right right now. You still got to make sure that you are financially literate and you're not blowing a bag. But I think that you will be all right, right? But if you go to school for 10 years for, let's say, liberal arts and theater, or you get a master's degree in something irrelevant, gender studies or some dumb shit. I always like to call it underwater basket weaving degree. then that's a self-inflicted wound. You know what I'm saying? And then people keep blaming the society told us that we were supposed to do this, and now all of a sudden I'm not able to make it. What is life for? Like, nobody owes you anything. We don't take into account how we vote and our liberal ways and the cities that we live in and how highly you get taxed and you paying without representation and, again, living in $2,500 of rent when you're a single mother and all of this stuff, because we have a luxury mindset and we don't even realize, because we feel like we're old because that's the standard of what lot.
Watch how crazy perspective is. I can't believe I'm a 46-year-old single mom raising a teenager and have to work 2 jobs to afford living in this expensive city, Vancouver. I feel so overwhelmed, overworked, and on the go all the time, working between full-time at a health clinic and teaching on the weekend, and then finding time to make these videos late at night. So pretty much get 0 time to rest or any downtime. Now watch this. I'm 46 years old and never felt better. I'm lucky to be a mom of a lively, happy, healthy teenager and get to afford living in this beautiful city, Vancouver. I'm blessed to have not just 1 job, but 2 great jobs, 1 full-time at a health clinic and teaching at a university on the weekends. And then I get to post all these videos inspiring hundreds and thousands of people in between. I get energized by seeing your beautiful comments and messages every day and excited to wake up every day for a new day and a new inspiration. I mean, who would have ever thought? Perspective is everything. It's everything.
I'm seeing a lot of white women tears on here, and I just think a lot of very fragile egos are getting poked. And because we're seeing a very harsh reality of where we do stand when it comes to white men ruling this country. We are no more than property. We are no more than vessels for white babies. So we need to take ourselves down a step, realize that we are not the pinnacle of beauty. We are not the pinnacle of grace. We need to see the sisterhood and common humanity in the women around us. We are not on a pedestal. We need to take a step down and look at each other eye to eye. Because Black women start movements in their sleep. They deserve a respect.
You saw those videos, right? It's so funny, right? It's not even pathetic. Do you know why I said it's not pathetic? It's not pathetic because over time, these people has made it look like Black women are the ones who are not loyal. They are the ones who are not good. They are the ones who cannot keep a home. But right now, what are we seeing? And a lot of them even come with so much expectation, even as single mothers, right? That's really, really funny. That's so funny. At least this is to tell them that it is not what you think. A lot of people you see are actually good mothers, but circumstances and situations happen. Yeah. A lot of them brag on the app and on televisions that, in fact, that they are now getting married to Black guys and they are keeping these people. And I'm asking, what happened to Kim Kardashian and the rest who were all married and they are now single mothers? You see, no one can be perfect in this thing. Nobody can be perfect in this thing, and they are really, really learning the hard way. And that's why it's not really, really good to laugh at people when they are at their lowest. And this will always make me give kudos to Black women, Black single mothers who are holding it up for their children, doing everything it takes, and smiling all through it. You all are the best, and you all are simply amazing. To be honest, I salute you all.